Hello Commanders, it's Forfinite. I want to go ahead and take a moment and go ahead and show how to level comms on an NPC 38 without losing all of your UV. So here's a combo that I had developed in order to reduce the amount of UV, and it's been modified by each individual player. And the reason why we continue to use this combo is because it drastically reduces the amount of UV lost when you're training commanders. Now, this happened to be an NPC 38. You can tell because you see the amount of UV. Now, if you've never seen the inside of an NPC 38, I'll go ahead and show you what's all in it. And the reason why I'm showing all these big round numbers, so that way you know it's a full NPC 38. It's not a halfway full, it's not a quarter full, it's completely full. Alright, for those of you that are wondering why you would try and level comms at an NPC 38 instead of holding it, if you've ever tried to get a 120 commander, getting 985,000 XP every 6-7 minutes really helps level a commander pretty quickly. The way you end up doing that is you end up doing an NPC reset. I'll do another video about that. Okay, so here is the combo. You got to have your one Jeep. If you don't have the Jeep, then the Hawk and the Titan swap places, and that really messes up your combo and the amount of UV that's going to get destroyed on your side, because that allows the long range on the defender side, the NPC side, to fire at the same time as the Hawk and the Titan, which means they've got so many more things fired at you than you got firing at them, and you're going to get jacked up. So that's why the one Jeep. I recommend 20 helicopters. This player happened to use 22, and it's so inconsequential on the amount of UV that if it gives him a little bit of a boost and an advantage, he should continue to do so. Alright, Hailstorm. I recommend 15. He's using 24. Once again, he's slightly modified it. It's only a little bit of UV. No big deal. Transports. I recommend between 1 and 20. I only use 1 or 2 if I've got a commander with a really, really high health, and if a commander has a really, really low health, then I use 20 transports. And if it's in the middle, then I use something in the middle. Same thing with bombers, between 1 and 20. Now, most people are wondering probably why I have transports and bombers when they're pretty much non-combat units. Well, this combo is what I call the 3 decoy combo. Now, technically it's 5 decoys, but I call it the 3 decoy combo. The first decoy is the Jeep. The second decoy is the transport. Now, how is the transport a decoy? It's so slow. The bomber is also a decoy. How is it? It's also super slow. Well, the way the combo works is the attacker attacks, and your first decoy goes on out, and it dies, and you end up destroying 2 NPC unit types per volley of fire, and then when this one gets on up here, it destroys these. This has already served its purpose. It's no longer being in combat. So sometimes the transport and the bomber both die. Sometimes, as in this instance, only the transport died, because the commander, an Iron Wing, has a high attack, and so therefore it was able to destroy more units faster. And so I'll go into a little bit more explanation as far as how and why this works. In a defense grid battle, units die in hierarchy value, and so that goes with the speed. So all the fast units die, and then all the next slower units die, and then the very slowest die. So the short range ones are the fastest, and the Jeep is the exact fastest, or the fastest combat unit, is the first one to die on both sides. After that, then you have hammerheads. Now you don't have centurions, but they would be other decks before the hellfire. Then you have tanks, arachnids, and so on and so forth, from rocket truck, hawk, titan, helicopter, hailstorm, artillery, railgun. Anyway, so this is a short range unit, and so therefore it has to be targeted if it's in the same space before the long range or the medium range. So therefore that dies and protects all these things that are your combat units. Okay, let's go ahead and get out of the battlefield. Alright, so once again, we've got our 3 decoys. We've got the Jeep, we've got the transport, we got the bomber. The reason why we have so many artillery and railgun tanks is those are the damage dealing units. Those are the ones that are going to actually destroy the NPC units. Now, why don't I have a whole bunch of helicopters and a whole bunch of hailstorm? I'll destroy so many more units. Well, this combo was developed to go ahead and destroy them in a manner that controlled the speed of what was being destroyed. And so therefore I could pick and choose what I wanted destroyed. And that's how I'm able to keep the amount of UV destroyed on my side low. So I've got a large amount of artillery and railgun tanks. I recommend no less than 250 railgun tanks. Between 350 and 400 is optimal, depending on your commander. Don't put more than 400. It's a waste of unit slots. You're better off just making more artillery in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch this battle view a couple more times. Alright, so the volley of fire should only destroy 2. Boom. Destroy this one. But it happens to destroy the tank as well. And then we got those 2. And because there's no more units within this range, it doesn't attack any others. And so therefore we end up only killing 1 unit per that volley of fire. But this is the 3 decoy combo. Yes, I know the helicopters and hailstorms are technically decoys, but I'm using them to go ahead and destroy other units. So this is how I'm able to keep UV loss down while playing and leveling comms. And I'll go ahead and show you a couple more instances of this combo being used. I wonder if this is the same commander. Okay, it's the same commander, and you can see it's pretty much meeting with the same results. So he attacks, he kills off the first 2, kills off the next 2, kills off the next 2, kills off the remaining medium range, then destroys 2, and then finally that one. Now, this combo is saved so much UV that I've passed it out and people have just raved about it. You can see I'm showing over and over all the different times when this guy is using it. Okay, so he's using a different commander. This is a wonderful example. Once again, we've got a full NPC 38. We've got a level 67 commander. Yes, he lost 239,000 UV. Big whoop-de-doo. That is nothing when you're leveling on a 38. It's actually pretty great because it's less than a quarter billion UV. Once again, he keeps the combo about the same, but in this one, he needed the other decoy. He ended up losing a little bit more artillery, but that's fine. So we'll go ahead and watch it. You'll actually see how both these decoys, they're super slow, but because all these units are moving, they have time to catch up and get online with the other long range. And because they're there, they defend them. And so these guys can take the brunt from those guys, and it reduces the amount of artillery and railguns lost. So we'll go ahead and watch that one more time, and then we'll go to the next one. And so that way you've seen it with multiple commanders, you've seen how it affects things, because these both are dying, whereas with the Iron Wing, the tanks were dying with Hellfires. So you can see how wonderful this combo is working. So it's not like something I just made up and it's a big joke. It's legit. It's working. Okay, so this one, he's losing a little bit more UV. He probably ended up destroying things a little bit too quick and then ended up having to compensate with the decoys. Alright, so we see full NPC 38, so he destroys those first 2, he destroys this, destroys the next 2, destroys the next 2, decoys should die. Alright, other decoys die, so, alright. Anyway, this is Vorvernick, and that is how to level comms on an NPC 38.